What is going on, guys? How you doing? It's your boy Luofemi, and I'm here today to share a story with you. And in this space, it's kind of my, I guess you could say, my detox, my expression, my space to be able to tell you my experiences that have happened to me personally. And when I say at the very bottom that it has some truth to it, it does have some truth. So let me start off by telling you the story and how the other podcast came about and how it's led up to this specific point in my life. All right. So, in my soulful awakenings, there's been a few things that have happened to me personally that, really can't explain. Right. And in not being able to really explain it in life and what we're programmed to is if it you have to see it to believe it, but then it's like believing is seeing. And it's gonna kind of give you kind of this like mind like trickery. It's kind of like a mind trickery type thing. And it's weird, but I'll explain it to you on this specific episode. It's called Navigating Spirits and Cosmic Currents Behind the Veil. So let's break it down. Let's dive right in. So in my life, I have been this individual that just seems like doesn't fit in. It could be the chosen one or any of the range of things. It's just I've never really fit in anywhere. And I've always felt like I've had a responsibility. And in that responsibility, it's like a very strong conscience that tells me that I should do stuff and that I shouldn't do stuff. And when I don't listen to that conscience that's, in the back of my head, there's severe consequences to my decisions. And mine are always seem to be way more I guess you could say strong and very more like there's a harsh punishment type thing, right? And I know that there's one person in here, but that's me. I'm watching to make sure that everything is good. So this is for the people that are on the replay. So I've always felt that way. It's not something that I take lightly. It's not something that I just, pass off. It's always been very strong. And instances in my life where things just should go this way, they end up going this way, and I can't explain it. Um, One thing I would tell you that this is a true story. I'm young. I'm living in Minneapolis, and a bunch of my guys were in the car. I had a black Monte Carlo. It's black and red, black interior. Had a CD player. I think at one point I had some 22s on it, stuff like that. At this point, I didn't have that. That time of your life, right? And I remember specifically this day, buddy of mine, he was like, "Man, I bet you can't make it to this movie theater by the time that this movie starts." Now, I'm like, like, like you trying to like play me? You think that that I can't do this? I'm like, bruh. All right, so it's a two door. It's a two-door car at this point. Y'all remember the car, the Monte car that looked like the Chevy Lumina? That's the kind of car. So you can envision this car, right? So it's tinted out. It's black and red. It's got the CD player in there, the digital CD player, things like that. And at this point, we're going from Brookdale over to Brooklyn Center. So it's like a 30-minute drive. We were trying to make it to this movie, right? So I hit it. Then my buddies are in another car, and I'm in my car. So I hit it, and I mean we're tearing down the freeway, and I mean I'm pushing a buck, like driving down this road, and I get to this off ramp, right, to come around, and this is how I know that things happen, and then you have ultimate protection that you really don't understand, because when you look at it later on, it's like, yo, that should have been bad. So I'm doing like a buck, and I come around this corner on the off ramp, and I'm doing every bit of like 55, 60, and my car spins out. So I'm coming around the corner, and my back end just comes out from nowhere. I mean, I'm hitting the corner, my back end just comes out of nowhere. And when I tell you guys, there is a street light here, and there's a water, like a man-made like water pool pond right here at the bottom, and my back end comes out from behind me, and I spin out, and I literally slide down this engravement, and I should have flipped over. I missed the pole. I should have flipped over, been in the water. It should have been bad, yo. But my back end spun out. I slid down this embankment, and my car didn't flip. I didn't hit the pole, but when I got out the car, there was nobody around, and I had grass inside my rim of my tire. Now, mind you, my tire weren't flat or anything. I just had grass inside of it. So I took that as a, as a sign, like, man, okay. So a while before that, right? I'm downtown. I live not too far away from downtown Minneapolis, and um this specific day, I don't know what it was, but this specific day, I'm in the car, and I come to this light. And I come to this light, and the light's red. So I'm sitting there. And I'm young. You peel off to go peel off, right? This specific day, this little conscience in the back of my head said, "Wait." And like I said, I'm a very big person of listening to the little voice that goes off in the back of my head. Very big person of listening to the little voice. So normally I take off, and this little voice said, "Wait." So I'm like, okay. So I wait. Had I took off like I normally do, I would have got hit, because the car was flying in. The lights here, the light turned green. I waited, and normally if I would have took off, I would have got hit. Voice told me to wait. I waited a second, and as I was getting ready to go, car came flying through. And that was a second. That's the second instance that something like this that has happened to me. Now, I'm young still, things of that nature, and you start understanding, specific things, but you don't necessarily understand specific things. My mother's she's big into church. My dad is, very big into church and things of that nature, and you start, really understanding, you know, kind of who you are, right? And as a kid, as a young kid in high school, things like that, my life was not easy. Period. Like, everybody's like, "Oh, you're a black man in the world, and your life is never easy." But there's a conversation that I had with my dad years ago, and the conversation was, why is it that people of my color are always going through something? Always. And my dad just looked at me, and said, "That's a very good question." I mean, I don't remember anything after that. I just remember asking him that question. So fast forward. So I fast forward, and now I'm in this position where I'm in Minneapolis, and I have a decision to make. Now, in this decision that I have to make, it's like going left or going right. And whichever decision I make, it's going to either positively affect my life or negatively affect my life. Now, when you make a decision, you ask all your people that are close to you, this and this and this. But in this instance, I didn't have too many people that I could rely on. I remember this vividly. Like I said, this is some true events that truly happened to me. So I remember this event, and I remember vividly that I was with this female before I got this is before I got married. This was before I met her. With this female, she went on a job interview and got the job interview and came back and broke up with me because she felt like her life immediately got better. I'm some type of loser, and she broke up with me. Now, obviously, I'm still new to the dating game, and I was hurt, devastated, whatever you want to call it. But it was the best thing to happen for me, and I'm gonna tell you why. So, at this specific point in time, my mom's she went on and did her own thing, right? So she left me in Minnesota and she went on and do her own thing. And she was like, "Well, you want to come with me?" And I'm like, "No, I don't want to move where you're moving." I stayed where I knew, what I could do. But it was tough because your parent is leaving you, and I think I was every bit of probably 17 at the moment at that specific time, 17, 18. I was out of high school. But there's a little couple little things in between there, but we'll scoot a little bit forward after that from that point. So at that specific time, the girl that I was dating with, she broke up with me. She was working downtown and she didn't need me, and I was a wreck at this specific point in time in my life. So I was like, all right, so I called up, in this whole relationship thing. I said, well, there's no reason for me to be here if me and you is not together, because I was literally just staying there because I was with her. And at this specific point, we broke up. So the words that I said out of my mouth is, if we're not together, there's no reason for me to be here. So we broke up. That day I called the person that was the closest thing to, because my father didn't live in Minnesota. He lived somewhere else because my mom and my dad were divorced. So I called him up and he gave me a choice. And in this choice, I mean, you're here, you see the first part of this. Everything that I thought was, doing okay was crashing down on me, right? So gave me the choice. And in this choice, it was I can either get a bus ticket to go be where my mom's is or get a bus ticket to go be where my father is. So I chose to go be with my father. Best choice that I ever made. So I hop on a bus. I remember it was summer. Hopped on a bus and I was going through a lot of different things. Hop on a bus and I go out to Indianapolis. Now, mind you, parent did not know that I was coming. And at this specific point in life, you find that you don't have necessarily control of your life. You have control, but your choices are preordained for you. So I chose to go there. Best choice that I made. And in life nowadays, it's about men, boys needing their fathers, and this is a specific reason why boys need their fathers. And I'm just put it out here on this specific channel. So I go. Pop, my father doesn't know that I'm coming, and he's living his life. He's got his wife. My dad's, he's remarried. He's got his life. He's doing his thing. He doesn't know that I was coming. I just got a call saying, "Yo, I'm here." So I get there, and I remember that it was like starting all over, and it's touching down in a city that you're not really in a lot. You are really don't got no money. You ain't really got no bread. I remember I had my suitcase, I had my outfit on, and I remember I got off downtown Indianapolis and I walked up Washington Street. And this is before it's changed for anybody that sees it that lives in Indianapolis or anything like that. I walked up Washington Street with my suitcase looking a hot mess. And I got to what used to be the Dollar Theaters. Now I think it's another place. I got up there, there's a Kroger, and I got up to the Kroger, and my pops picked me up there, and he wasn't expecting me, so he put me in a hotel for a few days while he got his affairs together. Obviously, he had to talk to his wife, like, sorry, hun, my son is coming, wasn't expecting him, blah, 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 blah. So, preordained, things were happening for me without me really having, because I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if he was going to receive me, if he wasn't. So, fast forward, right? So, I get there, get a job, and well, my father helps me get a job. So I grab a job. I get a job, and me. I mean, I'm a young guy. Head is kind of all types of messed up because of just the stuff, the junk that I was dealing with. But I was being led in a specific way. That's why you gotta pay attention. This is why Soulful Awakenings is the name of this. So I do this and I get a job and I'm working. Now I start working. I'm working at a hospital downtown, and I'm young. I'm young guy. Wanna you know hang out. You start being interested in the opposite. You're still interested in the opposite sex, but you're not doing too much because ain't no female gonna want to deal with you with all your mess and all your junk that you're dealing with. Ain't nobody want to deal with that. So, uh, get a job, start working, and I remember this day, right? And this is where I want you guys to pay attention. This is where the universe, your spirit guides, your angels, your anything that you want to, your higher power comes into play. All right, so fast forward. I like movies. I'm a movie buff, right? So on this specific day, I remember it like it was yesterday. On this specific day, I went to work, my first job, and got done with work because at this specific time I had my own place. But I realized pretty quick that you have to have two jobs to be able to take care of your regular bills, have your phone, have your car, and be able to do any other things. You had to have two jobs. So I was rocking out my two jobs. So this specific day, went to work, got off work, and went to get my hair cut. So I got my hair cut. I was feeling good, right? And I did not want to go to work this day, but something said go to work this day. So that little voice in the back of my head telling me to go to work. So I'm like, man, I got all, got all together, got myself together, and I went to work. So I'm at work, and for some reason, this specific day, Most High put me at the second register from the front, second register in, where I could see who's coming in and who's coming out. See it. Who's coming in, who's coming out. So I'm sitting there ringing people up, do 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 do. Hi, how you doing? Da 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 da. Being nice, being my normal self, right? Being me. And I look down, and just check this out, right? I look down and I look up, and I see this sister come in, and I notice her, and you're trying to be inconspicuous, you're trying to be inconspicuous. But I notice her, and I'm like, yo, she fine, da da da. She black chocolate sister, black chocolate. I love me some chocolate, right? So I see her walk in, right, and she doesn't see me, see her, right? So she walks in, I see her, and then I see behind her this big, he's not like broad, like he's a bigger brother. And I'm in my mind This is how the universe. In my mind, I thought that that was her dude because he was walking, right behind her, right? So I'm like, yo, I watch her a little bit, and get back to doing my thing, right? And in my mind, I'm like, yo, that would be amazing if, she came through my line, right? So I could try to talk to her, right? But I immediately got a long line of people. So I'm like, dang, so I'm doot, doot, doing my thing, doot, 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 doing my thing. So then it was weird, right? Because I got through all those people and she started walking towards me and I still had like two people. So she's walking towards me. Doo, doo, doo. She hops in the other line. I get through the last two people, right? The last two people that I had in my line, I get through them and I said, you can come over here. So she comes over here. She comes to my line and I'm ringing her up. I'm like, hey, how you doing? And she's like, "Oh, I'm good." And I'm like, I'm looking at her, and how you feel when you first get your hair cut, you looking like GQ, so GQ is GQ magazine, or and as when I was younger, I was always told that I looked a little bit like Usher when I was a kid, right? So I'm feeling good, looking good, baby skin all clear, beard, stuff like that. And I said these words to her. I said, it looks like you're tired. And I'm looking at this dude that's with her, and I'm like, and I said these few words. I said, you should have your man, give you a foot rub. And she says to me, that's not my man. In my mind, I'm like, ding, like, oh, it's not your dude. Like, you sure he's, nah, we're just friends. That's not my guy. And I'm like, she's like, I don't have, she's like, I don't have. And I'm like, oh, I said, so what's your name? So she tells me her name. So she tells me her name, and her name is Destiny, right? So I'm like, Destiny. Now, mind you, I'm like, okay, it could be Destiny. She's cute, cute black woman, and you know, I didn't ask her how old she was. I did ask her, so you got kids or anything like that. She told me that she had a kid. I said, how old is he? Da da da. She told me how old he was, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, you know. But this is where it got a little different. All right, this is how the universe and your spirit guides and the universe and your spirit guides work for you. And when they want something to happen, they make it happen because it's ordained for you for it to happen to you, right? So at this point, in my head, that little voice in the back of my head, remember I told you the voices in the back of your head, you need to pay attention to them. You need to listen to them because if you don't listen to them, it's kind of like being disrespectful. All right. So at this specific point, I was disrespectful to that little voice in the back of my head. The little voice in the back of my head said, hey, yo, ask her for her number. I didn't ask her for her number. The voice is like, hey, yo, ask her for her number. I'm like, I didn't ask her, right? So she walks away. You know that little waiting to exhale when you look over, she's walking, you look at her behind, hey, it is what it is. I like ass. I'm an ass guy, So I look over, she catches me looking at her, and she just smirks and she walks away. I did not ask her for her number, but check this out, right? She walks this way. She came in this way. She walks out this way, right? And the little voice in my head said, "Write your number down." So at this point, I listen to the little voice in the back of my head. So I write my number down, my name down, my number down, and I said, if she comes back, I will give her my number. Tell me why. She tells the story too, but on her side. Maybe one day I'll have her come on the show and she will tell you what happened on her side. So she gets out to the car with her friend that picked her up, and something she told me that something told her to come back in the store. It would not let her leave. It told her to come back in the store. So she comes back in the store. The same way that she came in, she comes right back up to me. And I was like, "Hey, you're back." She's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot to get some gum." And I said, "Here's my number." So I gave her I shit you not, guys. This is how this whole situation worked out. I gave her my number. And back in the day, right? You don't call a female the same day that you get the number. That was the unsung rule back in the day, which you did not do. But I got on my lunch break. You think I called her? Yeah, I did. So I called her on my lunch break and I'm like, hey, hey, I just want to make sure that this is your number, da da da. And from then on, guys, from then on, me and her talked every day. When I woke up to get ready to go to my first job, we talked in the morning, we talked in the afternoon, and we talked in the evening. So fast forward. Now I have to work and I'm working and stuff like that. And this is how life, guys, and I'm telling you, like, this is real life experiences. I am telling you the full story of how things are ordained for you, and your spirit guide, your angels, your y- the people that are looking out and looking over you will push you in the way that you need to go. So we talking, we talking, we talking, and I'm like, you should let me take you out, So I'm trying to set up a date with her, right? Trying to set up a date with her. Y'all, she wouldn't go out on a date with me. She would not go. Every time it was, I wanted to try to take her on a date. It was an excuse. Oh, we can't. I got this or I got that or my son or da 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 blah 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 da da da. Da. So the very last time, right, guys, the very last time I was going to ask her, I was like, "Hey, do you want to go out on a date? You want to go see a movie?" Me and her both love Denzel Washington. I was like, Denzel's got a new movie that's out. It's called American Gangster. We want to go see it. Had she said no, I wasn't gonna pursue her anymore. And this is like a month, right? I'm not gonna say maybe it was a month, maybe it was like 2 weeks or so. Had she said no, I wasn't gonna pursue her anymore because at this point I keep asking, you keep rejecting me. So this specific time, she decides that she wants to say yes, she'll go on a date with me. So at this point in time, guys, I'm like, oh, okay, I'll pick you up at this time. And at this point, I lived in a different part of the city. She lived on a lower part of the city. So I had to drive to pick her up. It was like 30-minute drive. So I pick her up. We go out to eat. I'm not balling out of control. I'm working 2 jobs. I mean, so it's like, I asked her, where you want to go? We went to some place, got some food, and then we went to go see our movie. So go see our movie. Great movie. And at this specific point, she's like, I gotta bring some food back for my son and my mom, because at this point, she's helping her moms and stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, yeah, no problem, whatever. So I get her food for her, get her food for her moms, whatever. Take her back, to the house, whatever, so on and so forth. And that was the end of our date. From that point on, guys, the way that was ordained, me and her have been together ever since that day. We've been married 17 years. 17 years. From that day, we've been together and been married for 17 years. Now, from that point on, guys, there's been lots of ups, lots of downs, lots of ins, lots of outs. But that is case in point how your spirit, how your guides will push you in a direction, and then if you don't listen to the little voice in the back of your head, that little voice will get on you and be like, yo, like, you need to listen to me. So it's important that you listen to your guides when they tell you things that you need to do. It's very important. So moving forward, we'll jump ahead to present time. In present time, guys, this is like I guess you could say, my counseling session. All right. So we jump ahead, and I'm on home time, and I find out a few things. And in this finding out a few things, it changes the whole landscape because I've always been a very spiritual person. Things are very important to me. I take things seriously. I take what people say. I take people's actions, and I can always tell when somebody is faking with me. Be real, because I'll be real with you. Some people don't like me because I'm very much real, and I don't play. I have no filter when it comes to being direct. It's me. But when you do stuff and you're nice and you're caring and you respect people and you love on people and they do you grimy, they do you bad, and then on top of that they go through something, they have a near death experience, and they get some type of knowledge, some type of understanding, and they use that understanding and that knowledge for the wrong reason. We'll talk about that in the second part of our story on Beyond the Veil, Navigating Spirits and Cosmic Currents. We'll talk about that in episode 3 or episode 4. I hope you guys enjoy the first part of the story. I hope you guys come back for the second and third part of the story. But if you guys want to follow me on my Blacktop journey, it's over there at Trucker Will on YouTube, as well as if you want to listen to the other part of this podcast, which is Consciousness Chronicles. This is just another part. There's two podcasts within one. So this is just the second part. You have the first part. This is the second part of Conscious Chronicles, as well as this one. So, Beyond the Veil, Navigating Spirits and Current and Cosmic Currents. There's more to life. There's more to the universe than what meets the eye. Like they said, is seeing believing, or is believing seeing? Things are not what they seem. 9 times out of 10, what you saw is correct, but our mind doesn't have the switch to believe it. Remember to be blessed and less stressed, and I will see you on the next episode.
Yeah, physical fathers, spiritual fathers, heavenly fathers. All of our fathers, all of our mothers, we pay homage. Yeah, physical mothers, spiritual mothers, heavenly mothers. Yeah, all of our mothers. Yeah, all of our fathers, we pay homage. Homage, homage and respect. Homage, homage and respect. Homage and respect. Homage, homage and respect. Homage and respect. Homage, homage and respect. Yo, Origuemio, yeah, Oreo line me, shape my character and put me in alignment. Take my 2 feet, let you guide me. Yo, all this on me. Yeah, all this round me. Hold my head when I need my father. Hold my head when I gotta go farther. Can't do shame, just bring me honor. My wings what make me fly. Super the champ or the champion. Call me the champ or the champion. Turn my pain to a healing power. In a world with a massive power. Born of the world, I'm a wandering conqueror. Can't stop like waves in the water. Yo, this for my mama though. She say I don't shout out. Knowing that she gave me life. Knowing that she raised me right. Never could I count you out. And I'm glad that you're still around. Glad that you're moving around. Glad that you're smiling now. This for my father though. You say you never had me at your shows, knowing that I'm on the road, knowing that I'm finally grown. Second year, stage 4, knowing that it's cancer grown. Could've let it stop him, no, but he working on his doctorate, though. Around me, so many spirits. So many spirits. Physical fathers, spiritual fathers, heavenly fathers. All of our fathers, all of our mothers, we pay homage, yeah. Physical mothers, spiritual mothers, heavenly mothers, yeah. All of our mothers, yeah. All of our fathers, we pay homage. Homage,
Homage and respect.
homage,
Homage and respect.
homage and respect. Homage,
Homage and respect.
homage and respect. Homage.
Homage and
Holy
respect.
Spirit surround me, pouring water to the ground. My ancestors surround me, and they don't play around. Ilé-Ifẹ̀, du mo puedo, tu puedo, que tu puedo, de all I was, yeah. Ifeanyi my hijo, de Obatala, yeah. Epo Osha, white cloth till the day that I rise. Cause all these spirits surround me, pour libation on the ground. My ancestors around me, and they don't play around. Yeah, this one's for you, this one's for you. All of our mothers, all of our fathers, we paying homage. Yeah, this one's for you.
Physical fathers, spiritual fathers, heavenly fathers. All of our fathers, all of our mothers, we pay homage, yeah. Physical mothers, spiritual mothers, heavenly mothers, yeah. All of our mothers, yeah. All of our fathers, we pay homage. Homage,
Homage and respect.
homage,
Homage and respect.
homage and respect. Homage,
Homage and respect.
homage and respect. Homage.
Homage and respect.